Very hard corner, very hard corner.
Oh yes. I'm used to driving in Switzerland.
Oh, okay. In the mountains, yes? Oh, good.
I haven't seen anything
There
like
you
that.
go. So that is a typical sun visor of the year.
Yes. Alright, here's the story. I was still laying in my bed as someone was knocking on my hotel door and said, "Sir, I'm here with the car. Give me 2 minutes." I said, what was I supposed to do? Say that I only had my little frog-eye camera with me because I didn't expect to be there? Of course not. This would be my first time in a Ferrari. This was the best way a man could wake up. So, if you viewers will learn anything of this video, it's the way a frog looks into the world. And so, 5 minutes later, we were standing on the boulevard. Good morning, again in Eastbourne. I'm in the Devonshire Park Hotel, and the owner of the Devonshire Park Hotel offered me to drive again one of his beautiful cars. This time, it is... What do we see here?
Here we have a 1973 Ferrari Dino GTS. So here's the boot.
Wow, quite big.
Quite a good boot for a Ferrari,
Quite
to be
big.
honest with you.
Yes.
Absolutely. And then we can look at the engine itself,
Wow.
which opens like this, and there we have it. This is the 3 Weber version. So,
Oh, yes.
You can think with the Jaguar, you have 6 Webers. Here
Yes.
we've got half the Jaguar engine basically.
Wow.
We've got 3 Webers at the front there, on the back, on the top there, and it's a very high revving, very pretty sounding engine. As you can see, there's absolutely no room for anything.
No.
So whenever you do work on the gearbox or the engine, you have to strip off virtually the whole thing to get at anything. So
Wow.
mechanically, they are a pain to work on. As pretty as they are to look at,
Yes.
I mean, for example, the distributor cap is over here. So when you want to do your points and things, you can imagine how many knuckles you lose just getting into that nook and cranny. So to
No.
work on, they are quite nasty.
Lovely details, eh?
Lovely, isn't it?
So it's nice how they made it so simple but so effective.
It's so simple but effective.
Yes.
You know, and it's just simple mechanics, really. You
Yes.
know, cables and things. And to be able to see the engine is a privilege these days, really. of any
Yes, yes.
and you can
that's
feel
true.
the heat coming off it.
Wow.
It does get very hot. And again, for ventilation wise, it hasn't got much point of ventilation really, so
Wow.
it does get hot. It's only got these air holes to breathe, and
Yes.
here, so it's mounted right in the chassis, and it's got no real way to breathe. And of course, the fans and things. And here are the fans, and these pipes,
yes.
pipes here, run the full length of the car and back into here to feed the cooling
Oh, really?
So obviously,
Oh.
when we had to replace the pipes with the stainless steel,
Yes.
that was a massive job because you have to get right in the car and run the pipes around. That was like a 48-hour labour job to replace the air cooling pipes. The styling after this goes completely more to the square, boxy type design, and then
from Bertone.
and
Only
yes, and then
only
it gives
this,
us
yes.
like, you know, we're moving on. It gives us the 512, and you can see how the
Yes.
design progressed through the
Yes.
times. This
Yes.
sort of shape very much comes from the sort of like racing days when you know they were the Ferraris were racing, and from their like I think it was their P4 or 5 race car.
Yes.
You can kind of see the shape here.
Oh, it's so beautiful, huh? It's
And of
such
course,
a
I
beautiful car.
love the 4 exhausts. They really do finish it off nicely.
Yeah.
But we'll start it up and we'll give you a drive.
Oh, you hear the
pop,
car motor,
the pop.
blah, blah,
That's
blah,
it.
blah,
That
yes.
nice and warm. And then you have to be very slow with the. I wouldn't worry about that. It doesn't
No?
work. No.
You see the wheel arches so good.
The buttercrest is beautiful. When you sit in the driver's seat, it's so beautiful.
Yes.
It's such a pretty car, and I think that the thing about this Ferrari is it's not in the face. You know, it doesn't rub people up the wrong way. It's what we call a smiley face car because
Yes.
people think, oh, it's pretty,
Yes,
and
yes,
you know,
yes, yes,
it doesn't
exactly.
have any kind of like stigma attached to it, like maybe a Lamborghini or something was. And now we need probably second gear again.
Yes,
and,
of course.
And this corner's quite
Oh.
nasty. That's it.
That the clicking sound is very
it's
nice.
very satisfying. That
Yes,
yes.
And the steering is quite opposite of that of the Jaguar.
Yes, it is. It's very wayward, isn't it?
You
And I'll slow
immediately
down for this one.
feel- yes.
Second gear and a very
sorry.
hard corner. A very hard corner.
Oh yes. I'm used to driving in Switzerland.
Oh, okay. In the mountains, yeah?
Yes.
Oh, good.
And now very quick and then very quick down again.
Yeah, again, yes. So you use the brass, let them bring it up, and then drive round the corner. That's it.
come, doesn't go sideways or...
No, it's got a good. There's not much roll, is there?
No, roll is the word. Yes. No, little roll.
There we go. Beautiful.
It does drive very easy.
It does.
Go in a second.
You just have to get used. It's quite a demanding. The gears. It's very fussy about the gears.
Yes.
Yes. And now we have to give way up here, I think.
All right.
But for yourself being quite tall, there's not much room, is there really?
No, but it's working.
Junction.
Oh, yes, of course. I can't see anything.
Go.
Yes.
That's it. Perfect.
Yes. Maybe we can go a little through all the details.
Sure.
I can pull my feet off, huh? Because where are we sitting now? I see the dash. What is this kind of?
Yes, this is very important for these old classic cars really. You've got the charge meter, so as we're driving along you see the needle go towards the plus. That means the battery's charging. If there's a problem or something's not happening or the lights are on and it's discharging, the needle moves towards the discharging mark. So in a modern car it doesn't matter, but in the older cars charge is very important for the battery to keep and for the alternator or the dynamo or whatever it was. So you know these later series cars do have a light as well over there to indicate there's a problem with the generator, and it is called generator. So there we go. Then the next thing in true Ferrari fashion, which I really love about, is the rev counter. You always have a nice decent rev counter, and here you've got a lovely rev counter, and it really does rev all the way up to 6,500 very beautifully once it's it really is a nice sounding engine once it gets the revs up.
Yes,
really.
yes. And you heard them so beautifully in the back.
And with the lid off as well, with the roof off as well, it really does sound very nice.
Wow.
The other thing that's important really, the temperature of the oil and the water temperature, making sure it doesn't overheat. And then of course the other important gauge to watch is the oil pressure.
Is maybe the most important thing
to watch. The oil
watch.
pressure is very important really. It tells you straight away if there's a problem with the engine or not. So you've got to be, unlike the modern car, you've got to be watching the gauges all the time for any anomaly and thing really. Then we have the speedometer over here, which this particular speedometer has got a kilometre overlay because the guy that bought this car new in '73 went to live in Switzerland for a while, and over there you have to have a kilometre on your display to get it past the ITV or MOT test. So he stuck the kilometre dial over the original dial that you can see there, and we've kept it original like that, so to keep the odometer the same. And of course, like anything really, the clock doesn't work. Typical Italian piece of junk, but it's stuck at 20 / but then there we go.
Oh wow.
Then we've got the original sort of Becker Grand Prix radio, typical of all the Ferraris of the era really. Then you've got the air conditioning, i.e. just cold or hot air, with these sliders, and then you've got the hazard lights.
Yes.
And then of course the very useful glove box.
Useful.
You know, put about 2 things in there and it's full up. But there we go, the glove box.
No, but it's much larger than in the Jaguar.
Yes, it is.
That really was a glove box. You mentioned that at the end.
Absolutely, yes.
Yes. Wow. And then you have the
vents for the air.
vents for the air. Very simple plastics.
Very simple plastic,
Fiat plastic,
Fiat
probably.
plastic, And then of course you've got the mouse hair dash, which is, we've kept it, this is the original
mouse hair?
This is actually made of mouse hair, believe it or not.
Mouse hair?
Yes, apparently so.
Wow.
So there you go.
Mouse hair. But I don't see any much.
No, it's underneath. It's kind of, it feels, it's actually made of a mouse hair compound.
Oh really? And there's
these are the sun visors. So they come out. And
I haven't seen anything like that yet.
There you go. So that is a typical sun visor of the era.
And now, and you had to. Where could you clip that on?
Well, no, you're meant to. It's meant to stay, but we put a sucker on it because it's not meant to have that. But we added it on because it wouldn't stay because it's old-fashioned. But originally they'll just sort of hang and stay.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, it's a good idea, really. Huh?
Yeah.
Wow. And then you have in the doors, you have some
pockets for the doors here.
Pockets for the cards.
That's it. And these ones have the electric windows. So there we are.
As well.
So there you go, electric windows as well.
Yes.
And of course a cigar lighter.
Wow. A cigar lighter?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think it actually works anymore.
No.
That was the original cigar lighter.
And what is this?
This is for the choke. So you know, back in the day with the Webers, you'd be using this as a choke, but you know it was always ineffective. And these days, you just pump the accelerator and turn the key, and you're absolutely fine. Leave it clearly jammed in the cold position.
Wow.
It's just not worth touching.
No.
And of course the ashtray. And I think we have got some original Euros and stuff in there. We've been to France in it a few times. down to Nice and things. But
Really?
yeah,
Jeez.
but you have to, you have to realise that you don't drive fast and make a whole. The journey's part of the trip,
Yes,
because that's
yes,
part of the
yes.
fun, really.
Yes.
But this car's much more at home on the country roads, really.
Yes.
It's a real country road kind of car.
I drove to Nice as well,
Right.
with the SL,
Oh, lovely.
with my wife, and the not the Route Napoleon, but the Route des Alpes.
Oh yes, the twisty
The
one.
twisty one.
Oh wow, lovely.
This car would be great on that
This
road.
would be fine for that.
Yes.
Mountain passes and things.
Yes, yes.
It's beautiful. That is great, and because it's a real sort of bendy, windy kind of car.
Yeah.
But you don't want to. It's not a cruiser. You don't want to go down a motorway. It takes away all the fun of it, really.
Yes. Very usable, huh?
Oh, honestly, it's not. Unlike many Ferraris, it's not that low to the ground, so you haven't got to worry about every single little bump in the road.
No.
It is very usable, just providing you don't mind smelling of petrol at the end, really.
Would you live also in a landscape where it is so good to drive this car?
This is honestly, this is the ideal road for this little Ferrari, really.
Yes.
It's got some nice bends. The rear engine is just beautiful for these corners.
Yes.
And it's at home here,
Yes.
And you can enjoy this Ferrari without worrying about losing your license for speeding. I mean, the modern ones, if you want,
Yes.
you look at the speedometer, you're doing 100 before you even look down at it.
Yes.
Here you get a real true sense of speed, and it's the other thing about this car is you're much more involved. It's very mechanical. You're part of the car.
Yes.
You have to drive the car.
Yeah.
Which is so different to the modern things, really.
Yeah.
You couldn't use this every day. I mean,
And why not?
well, it's just not practical. Things go wrong on it. The windscreen wipers are rubbish. There's all those things. It leaks. It leaks when it rains. It's got all those things that just aren't practical. But for a sunny day car, for a little poodle around town and a little drive, it's lovely.
Yeah.
Without the in-the-face Ferrari that you associate the brand with, really.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the other thing about this car that adds to its appeal is its lovely horn.
Yes. That's strange.
And of course, now we've experienced it on the road, the other key feature of this car is the roof. Now the roof's a very simple method on this car, really. It's like a tin lid, really. You undo it by these little catches at the back here. One catch down, like this. And one catch down, like this. And then literally, you just lift off your lid. So it is very simple, without trying to damage it too much. There you go. And that is literally the roof.
Wow.
So it's very straightforward.
Yes. And then you can keep the roof behind the front seats.
You are
huh?
meant to store the roof behind the
Yes,
front seats, but
yes. No,
I tend to think that the roof's all dirty
Yes,
and there's no
of course,
need to do that.
Of
really.
course. But that would be originally the
That's
the
it,
idea.
and also what you have the tonneau cover that goes over this to put it in the back.
Really?
That's why we have the cutout here, so it sits on the centre tunnel. That's the whole
I
point.
didn't know. Oh,
Okay.
wow, great.
So that's the roof. I'll
Well,
just put the roof back on.
Thanks so much. Yes.
Of course, it's incredible now you think the appeal of this Ferrari now, because of course when it was built, it was the budget Ferrari using the cheap Russian steel, and you can see that really, this particular car was what we call rust-proof from new, which was Zabat.
Zabat,
and
yes.
you can see that from new this was done, and you can see what they used to do. They drill into the actual chassis and then inject the stuff in there, and that's what those caps are. They're the original rust-proofing technique of the time, and that would have been an optional extra at the time.
Right.
Good.
Well, thank you
Pleasure.
again
Thank
so
you
much.
Thank you, and nice to meet
Till
you.
next time.
Until next
Yes.
time. Yes, thank you.
Back at home, some Dino information in the books. In 1966, Enzo Ferrari founded Dino, an independent company. Dino was the call sign of engineer Alfredo Ferrari, the only son of Enzo Ferrari. Dino was a promising constructor. He was a convinced fan of the V6 engine and had designed excellent engines of this type, but died in 1956 at a very young age from an incurable disease. In the years that followed, his ideas proved to be correct. The engines based on his plans gained many victories. The definitive presentation of the Dino brand was made in 1965 when the International Sports Commission decided that from 1967 the cylinder capacity of a Formula 2 car had to be 1500 cc. However, the committee formulated all kinds of precise restrictions. The engine should not have more than 6 cylinders and had to be derived from an engine that was allowed in the GT category. To be admitted to the GT category, a production of 500 copies had to be made possible. For that, Ferrari made an agreement with Fiat. Ferrari would deliver the plans for the engine, while Fiat would build the necessary 500 copies in a short time. In that period, Dino emerged as an independent brand, which presented the interesting 206 GT at the Turin Motor Show in 1966. The car turned out to be the starter of the mid-engined Ferraris.
Right, so now we're in the Ferrari and we're just going through the starting procedure. With this car, it's already been quite hot, so pump the accelerator. Pump the accelerator now. So stop. Okay, that's it now. Keep the revs up, keep the revs up. Obviously, okay, basically, okay, and we can see we're charging, which is good news. We want to keep charging. So now we're going to move off.
Yes.
So we want to put the foot brake on and the clutch down, like normal. Handbrake off.
Handbrake off. Oh yes.
Yeah.
And the clutch down. Yes.
Yeah, that's it. Then into gear 1, which is on the dog leg boxes there. That's it.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
You mentioned this. It's on the left.
That's it. Yes. Yeah. So we're in gear 1. That's it. Right. Now we can move off. So up to the bite and rev and go.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. Clutch is quite high.
Oh yes, it's fine. I can't see anything in the rearview mirror. But
Go.
and now into 3.
Clutch down into 3. Yes.
Oh yes, it's the Ferrari.
That's it.
It's the click.
Exactly.
The
That
sound.
lovely gate.